Hello, and welcome back again, everyone. Today we are going to recap a movie named Paradise Road from 1997. So let's go. This story is based on a true story. At the beginning of the story, it's February 10th, 1942, and we're at the iconic Raffles Hotel in Singapore. The Grand Hall is alive with elegance as people enjoy a lavish gathering. Delicacies and wine grace the tables while a melodious singer enchants the stage. And we see a lot of people dancing with each other in the hotel. These people are soldiers, and they are dancing with their partners. This is a time of relief for these people because they have been fighting with Japan for a long time in the deadliest conflict, World War II. Then we see a girl named Susan, and she is dancing with a man whom she met in this party. Like this, we see another girl named Rosemary. She is with her husband, and he is a soldier, and they love each other a lot. Rosemary truly loves her husband a lot. Here, some Americans are discussing with each other the sight of hapless Japanese soldiers with their inadequate weapons, mere toys and broken cameras, and they say that Japanese can never defeat America in a war. One woman raises the topic of Pearl Harbor only to be met with a calm explanation from her husband about the suddenness of the attack. Then we hear a loud explosion from outside, shaking the walls of the hotel. The music halts, and concerned glances exchange as people ponder the cause. The tension eases and conversations resume. Then a man announces that Japanese soldiers have entered the border and they can reach here at any time. The city is under fire and its fall is imminent. European women and children must evacuate immediately amidst the chaos and amidst gunfire, and because of this, all women and children are taken on a ship which will take them to a safe place. Here, all of them say goodbye to their partners and board the ship. When the ship moves, some Australian nurses meet the needs of their passengers and treat them very gently. Here, all people are given life jackets and they are told to wear them for a few hours until we leave this zone. The night passes well, but in the morning, the Japanese Air Force attacks this ship. There is a lot of commotion in this ship, and all people run here and there to save their lives, and many children and women are killed in this attack, while some people get off this ship, board the lifeboats, and go to the shore nearby. Then we see Rosemary, who is separated from her husband, and an Australian nurse, Susan, and an American lady, Adrienne, are left behind in the water, because these people jump into the water and they do not get any lifeboat. These three swim all day and reach a Japanese island, Sumatra. Moving ahead of the muddy jungles here, these people reach an open field, and these people are very tired. These people talk to each other to keep each other motivated. As they move forward, they reach a road and see that some Japanese soldiers are riding bicycles. Then Captain Tanaka, who is from the Japanese force, gives them a lift to a village nearby. On the way, Adrienne tells this captain that you made a mistake by attacking a ship full of women and children. Do you have any humanity left? And she also tells that this attack is against the Geneva Convention. But the captain says that Japan never signed that paper. After this, these women are taken to a village where a Japanese soldier slaps Rosemary without speaking and drags them to other people. And here we find out that all the people who were left from that ship have been brought here. Susan meets her friends and is very happy to see them safe. After this, they are taken to a prison camp where there are already many prisoners, and there are a lot of people of different castes here. These people are kept in a shed where there are already many people. The next morning, all of them are picked up and treated like animals. After gathering them in one place, the colonel announces that all of you are now prisoners of the Japanese government, and they will have to live here according to our rule. Then a woman starts talking, but then the sergeant slaps her and drops her. After this, Japanese national anthem is sung here, and all these prisoners are told to bow down in front of it. After this, a truck comes here and brings leftover food for them. And after that, these people cook it and eat it. There are more than 400 women in this camp. There are people from many countries in this camp. And in women, it is common that they live happily with everyone. And these people decide here that we will all live happily together. After this, we are shown a woman who is Jewish. Her name is Verstog. She says that I am a doctor. After breakfast, these people are taken to farm. And these people do a lot of work all day. These people have to bring water in the nearby lake. And even if they get tired, they are not allowed to rest. They also have another duty: bring water from the nearby lake so that the Japanese soldiers can bathe. And when she brings water for them, the Japanese soldiers are naked in front of them. It means that these people have no shame. Then a woman says that there is another camp on the other side of this island in which men are kept. Rosemary is happy with this, and she thinks that maybe her husband is in that camp from the other side. Within a few weeks, malaria begins to spread here, and a lot of people die from this malaria. There is an old woman with these people who has been in this camp for a long time, and her name is Mrs. Roberts. Mrs. Roberts also gets malaria. Gradually, all the people here start getting sick, and with this, there is a shortage of medicine here, and these women had to sell their jewelry and take medicine from the Japanese soldiers. On the same night, a Japanese woman who is in this camp, her name is Wing. Wing sneaks out of this camp in search of medicine, and she managed to bring medicine. When she comes back, the guards here are alert, and somehow Wing reaches her camp, and she brings medicine for Mrs. Roberts, which improves Mrs. Roberts' health. The next morning, Captain Tanaka finds out what happened here last night. He brings Wing in front of him and burns her alive as a punishment. The rest of the people are very scared of this thing here. The same evening, Adrian is humming a song. That's when a woman joins her singing. Her name is Daisy. They get along very well because there was only one common thing between the two of them. That was music. And they decide that we will make an orchestra band. After that, they write musical notes on their diary. Some women join them and some do not. And they tell them that if the Japanese soldiers find out about this, then they will burn us alive. But the rest of the people are very desperate to join them. Here Mrs. Roberts is shown, who starts talking about the people of the lower caste. That's when her daughter tells her, the middle-class girl who brought medicine for you, who saved your life, she was burned alive because she risked her life for you and brought medicine. After hearing all this, Mrs. Roberts is very sad and thanks Wing. The same day, Adrian and the other woman start practicing orchestra music. But that's when the Japanese soldiers come here and beat them because it is forbidden to perform activities like this in a military camp. But these people do not give up here. They make small groups here. They practice their orchestra singing in secret, and this plan works. And gradually, these people get better at this thing. One day, the sergeant comes to this camp and gives Daisy a list. When she reads this list, she finds out that all the girls in this list are young and beautiful. After this, these girls are put in a jeep, and they are taken to a mansion, which is the official residence of the Japanese army. Here they are told that they have a chance to live a good life if they agree to this, that they should be the mistresses of the officials here. Mistress means maid, like a maid, and these people will be given good clothes, good food, and a separate room. Some women agree to this here, but the rest refuse this because they had promised someone else. After this, many months pass, but the war does not end, and in the course of time, many women die in this camp. One day, Susan enters the room of that woman, who is a doctor, whose name is Versace, and sees that the doctor takes out a golden tooth from the teeth of a dead body, and says that this tooth is of no use to this woman. In fact, it can only be of use to me. So Susan tells her that whatever you are doing is wrong, but then we find out that the doctor takes medicine from the Japanese soldiers instead of gold, and she also wants Susan to learn all this, so that the people here can live if she is killed one day, and she keeps doing all this after her. On the same night, when Adrian is outside her tent, then a Japanese soldier attacks her and tries to assault her. This soldier is intoxicated, but Susan defends herself and pushes that man down. But then other soldiers come here and accuse Adrian that she has hit a soldier without any reason. Adrian is kept in a cage all night, and the next morning, her convocation can be done. The next morning, the sergeant here takes her to Captain Tanaka, and the soldier lies to Captain Tanaka that Adrian refused to bow down in front of him, and I touched her on this. Adrian gives clarification from her side, but then the captain says that you are insulting our soldiers. He throws her on the ground and kicks her badly. On the other hand, some women go to the colonel's office and beg him for Adrian's life. They tell him that Adrian has no fault in this, while all the fault is of that soldier. But the colonel also refuses to help them. Then this woman says that there is no difference between you and Captain Tanaka, and listening to this, the colonel agrees to help them. The same night, there is the first show of an orchestra here, and listening to this voice, the Japanese soldiers come out of their camp and try to stop them. But when they hear their voice, they stop at the sweetness of their voice. And when the show is over, the leaders here also clap for them. The next morning, all of them are gathered, and it is said that Japan is continuously winning in this war, and now Australia wants to join hands with them. Then Susan says something in a low voice, and Captain Tanaka hears this. He calls her in front of him and says, "Repeat what you just said." When she refuses, then the captain ties Susan with chains, and around her he keeps a wooden weapon that if Susan moves even a little, then her death is certain. Susan is kept here for hours, and neither is she given water. After 24 hours, the captain returns, and he is impressed by Susan's courage, and this time he lets her free. Now the orchestra music plays here every evening, and the officials here also listen to this music, and being impressed by this, they give them 2 soaps as a gift. Now they have been here for 2 years. After this, they are taken to another place, where there are not many facilities, but aren't told the cause of it. While being transported, they notice a bunch of women having afternoon tea outside a mansion. They presume those were the girls who agreed to be the mistresses to Rosemary's. Shocked, she spots her husband among the prisoners that the Japanese have brought. This means only one thing: they are about to kill him. Rosemary keeps crying all the way, and she also realizes that she will never be able to meet her husband again. In a new place, they are kept in deserted houses, and they are not even given mattresses. These people do not even have food here, and that's why these people have to eat snakes and insects. Many women fall ill because they do not get proper food. These people have malnutrition, and since Rosemary has seen her husband in the custody of the Japanese soldier, then she gives up her desire to live. Rosemary is not even able to eat properly, and by constantly crying at night, her body became very weak, and because of this, Rosemary dies. And with this, Mrs. Roberts and many other people die, and these people are buried nearby. Now, very few women were left here, and these people have also forgotten how their lives used to be before this. After this, on August 24th, 1945, the colonel here calls everyone together and stands at the table and announces that the war is over and apologizes to all these people for their behavior. After this, the Japanese soldiers leave here, and these women are released. These women are very happy, and they jump, dance, and erupt into cheers, celebrating their freedom, and hug each other. After this, these people, the survivors, were rescued within 2 weeks and taken to Singapore, and from there, they were sent to their homes. The orchestra music that these women were singing in this story, that music was recorded in reality, and even after being released from here, the survivors here, they maintained their friendship until their death, and with this, the story ends.